Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today. Let's do it, shall we? Yells, welcome to the show live from Adelaide here in beautiful sunny South Australia, except it's about 10 degrees Celsius at the moment and far from sunny because it's 6:30 in the morning. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. It is Monday morning and a cold Monday morning here in Adelaide. It's Sunday afternoon if you're in the US or Canada. It is Sunday night for our friends in the UK and Europe. And I hope you have had a really good weekend. I've had an interesting one. I've reset up the studio here. We're going to talk about that in a moment. I'm going to talk a little bit about NFTs. Are they still a thing? I don't know. I'll tell you about the StreamYard Spotlight show that I was on last week. In case you missed that one, you can check that out. And a whole lot more. We've got some midpoint motivation and we've got a heap of hidden gems at the end of the show that I'll be chatting about. But don't forget, we are interactive here, so we also welcome your questions. All you need to do is put the word question in front of your question here in the chat, and we will answer it. But first thing I have to do is get this cord off my shoulder, because as I mentioned, we'll talk about this up front. I've been redeveloping the studio here and getting everything in the right place that's going to work both functionally, aesthetically, and just actually be cool is not easy. I don't know if anyone else struggles with this, but when you're trying to get all your gear in the right spot and you're trying to get it all set up the way you want it to, it just takes some time, doesn't it? Or at least it does for me. So you're going to have to be my sound engineers. Yes, you're my unpaid interns here today, so thank you for that. So if the sound level is too hard, too hot, too cold, too high, too low at any given time, then please let me know, because again, we're setting up here. We've got a new setup here back through the Zoom live track. So I don't have a separate camera here to show you, but for those that have been following the channel and following along at home, I bought a Mac Mini M1 late last year, and I've been using that to do all of my live work, all my streaming ever since. The only problem was that I was using the Zoom live track. Here we go. Here's my studio gear guide. We are brought to you today by the studio gear guide, studiolivetoday.com/gear. So I was actually using, for my mixer, this sucker here, the Zoom Live Track L8, which looks like this when it comes up. It is a great little machine. There it is. So I plug in, my mic goes into channel 1 here, my guitar into channel 2. I can bring my iPad into a stereo channel. I bring my PC into a stereo channel. It is just really, really nice, and it does the job, and it helps me run these shows. The only problem was they didn't release a driver for the new Mac M1 for Big Sur, Mac OS 11, for about 4 months. So Mac OS was updated, it came out, I've got my new Mac M1, I'm like, yes, I'm plugging in my... Oh, no, does not work, did not work at all. So what did I do? I had to go back to my older mixer, which is still a great mixer. It's still been doing a great job. That is this one here, the Samson MixPad MXP. And up until yesterday, I was using this instead. And look, it's a mixer as a mixer, does kind of the same things, but I was using that one instead. I've finally got back to the Zoom live track. Some of the features it has I really like, some I miss. So this one has a compressor dial, for instance. The live track here doesn't have a compressor. So I'm constantly in this battle between getting enough signal coming through and not clipping and distorting on the channel. So when I go really loud, I need to make sure that that doesn't peak. I don't hit the red light there, which I didn't do. But I'm looking at my overall level here, and it's a little bit down. So I'd like a compressor in the Zoom. So what do I do from here? I don't know. I've been thinking about, do I get like the Yamaha MX series mixer? They look really nice. Do I just guts it out with the Zoom live track and get used to it? Well, you'll be the judge. You can help me do that. Thank you, Thomas Christ. There you go. They are my recommendations at studiolive.com/gear. Let's say good day to some of the other folks who are here. We've got SM Borthwick, my guest guitar dropping in. We've got Mr. Stu Cash. We've got Joe, Glenn, Auntie G in the house. Who have I missed here? Sorry, the chat's flown by. SM Borthwick, I saw you drop on in there. Dom Thatcher, been a while since hitting live. Well, good to have you back. Thanks for being here. And anyone else that I have missed. Adam Burst, I think I saw you drop in there. Doc Disorders. Actually, this is a good chance to check out if I can get the reverb going on here for a big Doc Disorders. Ready? Hello to Doc Disorders. Yep, see, it works. Josephine DeSmet, hello to you. And anyone else who I've missed. Audible video, g'day. Hola. Hola to you too. All right, let's crack on. Excuse me, frog in the throat, of course. Let's crack on because we've got a heap to talk about here today. First and foremost, I did want to mention this. If you did miss it, look, that's an unfortunate freeze frame, isn't it? There you go. So I had the pleasure of chatting with the wonderful Dana and Kelsey over on the StreamYard channel. Let's go back to where it's just them and not me. So there they are. There's Dana and Kelsey from StreamYard. It was really fun. So I was talking about how I manage these shows. So the Creator Town Hall, I think we had some, Bubba was there, Mark was there, Thomas Christ, Sarah Newen. So there's some familiar names for creators that were actually there in the chat. So thank you to everyone who came along. If you missed it and you didn't catch the interview, you can check it out down in the description. So as per usual, I've done the hard work for you. Everything that I talk about in today's show will be linked down in the description. There I am, popping up. So do go and check that out because it was a lot of fun. The StreamYard community, a lot like this community. The reason I use StreamYard, because a lot of people say, why do you use StreamYard over maybe something like Melon or Restream or Streamlabs or OBS? Like there's literally close to, well, I was going to say hundreds. There's at least tens of different platforms that you can use, both web-based and browser-based and just regular app-based, that you can use to stream. Why do I use StreamYard? It's about the community. So the people at StreamYard, so Gage and Dan, who are the founders, are passionate about making it the best possible experience so that I can do things like this, so that I can have your comments here on the screen, so that I can just go, hello, there you go. Even if I don't do streams, I enjoy the interview. There you go. See, Arnie G was in the house. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with StreamYard. I can pop that up there. I can put my banners here where I need to. Oh, hi, Joe. Hi, Russ, Joe, everyone in the house. So I can do this. I can tell you about my gear. I can tell you about the merch store. I can tell you to go over and be a patron. So yeah, I love StreamYard and I love the StreamYard folks. And they actually do a town hall. So this show was inspired by the StreamYard town hall. So if I just search StreamYard town hall, and what they do, they only do 30 minutes. They keep it a bit more tight than I do. But there you go. You can actually check this one out. This is today's show. It's streamed at 10:30, which is in 4 hours' time. So if you are a live streamer or you want to learn a bit more about live streaming and you want to hear directly from, see, there they are. There's Dan and Gage. This is what I'm talking about. These two young Canadian dudes, they created StreamYard and they own it. They do a town hall every week where they get in front of all of their viewers and just answer questions and talk about features and talk about the pillars of making sure that you can have reliable streams and that you can do everything you need to do. So shout out to the StreamYard folks. They are awesome people and I highly recommend it. Excuse me a moment. Yeah, I didn't want to talk through that frog in my throat for the rest of the show. All right, let's make sure my level's back up to where it needs to be. Yeah, around about there. I'll have to listen back and see if this was too quiet or not after the show. We'll just check. Once again, if you do have questions, if you're just joining us like Wolfstone Studio is doing here, like Mr. Gary Hubbs is doing here, and you do have questions or you have something that you want my hot take on, just do this. Put question in front of your comment. That's going to help me just spot it in the chat there and be able to throw up your question and hopefully answer it. So if you do have a question, go ahead and do that. Mark saying sounds great and audible video, you're good on levels. Excellent. See, this is why I love being in the audio niche. I can actually do this and you folks not only understand the struggle is real, people, of getting a balanced audio and why you need to obsess over it. Like I know we obsess too much. Most people doing a stream would just be like, that's about right. And then we go for it. But you know what? There's nothing worse than being on one video and then going to another and you have to turn the volume right up because their levels are too low. And then you go to another one and they're blasting it out and they're clipping and distorting. And every time they pop a P, you get a big chunk of distortion in there, right? Am I the only one? Is it just me? I am a bit pedantic when it comes to this stuff. All right. So we've talked about StreamYard. We've talked about the new studio setup. So a couple of things I've done differently. I've now got my mixer on my left. So the mixer is down here and that frees up my my mousing hand to be over here on the right. My iPad keeps going flat. So one thing I have noticed here is that I've got my iPad plugged in, but I've got it plugged in and I don't have the powered hub going through it yet. And it is drawing power like a mofo, I'm telling you. So that is one thing. I've just unplugged the hub from it because I'm not using the iPad today and tempting fate. We'll tempt fate tomorrow on GarageBand Weekly, yeah? So I've got the iPad right in front of me now. So it's directly below my screen, which makes it super convenient for doing stuff while I've got the screen up here. Got my speakers off to the side. And this arm that I use for my microphone is now, it's better because it's on the front of the desk so I can get it centered here. Before, you'd notice I'd have it out like that because it couldn't reach far enough to be centered. That's the good thing. The bad thing is because it's got extra arm here now, it's kind of in the bottom of the shot. So unless I zoom in, which I could probably do, if it's not too scary to see me a little bit. Oh, that's too scary. All right, back away, back away. Oh, there you go. That might be a happy medium, right? I can go with a medium shot and not have that. I know. Welcome to Pete Sets Up His Stuff. Yeah, that's what you came here for. Exactly. And mofo is a technical term. Exactly. Spot on. Audible video. Mofo for the win. It's how you can swear without really swearing. That's the way I go with it. All right, let's go to the next item. Now, I want your views on this. Actually, no, we're gonna skip around. We're gonna do something else first, and then we'll jump over and talk about NFTs, because I meant to do this right off the front, but I was following a thread, following a post on it was either GarageBand users or maybe it was Create, Record, Release, one of the great Facebook groups that we're affiliated with here, and folks were talking about what do they call it? They call it a music roadblock, which I guess means like having a writer's block or a music block or some sort of block moment. Hopefully not that sort of blockage. But what do you do when you have that block and you can't do anything? Well, there's one thing that I really like to do, and I wanted to know, A, does anyone else do this? And B, would you be keen to try it? And what it is, I'm going to put it up here. It is something that I didn't invent it, but I used it back in my business days. The other problem with this arm is it's actually slowly floating away. So you'll notice as I talk, the microphone is slowly floating away. So I'm going to have to adjust it and get it a bit more weighted. But it's something called speed thinking. And I've talked about it before, but if you're newer to the channel, you may not have heard me rant on this before. What you do, so the whole concept of speed thinking is if you're trying to solve a problem, if you're trying to do something in any sort of environment, so say you're trying to solve a work problem and you're in your job and you're I don't know, you're in a sales team. I only say that because I was in a sales team. What you do is you get the problem statement and then you put 60 seconds on the clock. You grab a timer and you put 60 seconds on the clock and you go through and you let your brain just go. You just start thinking of everything related to that particular thing. I'm going to do this here in a moment. So you're 60 seconds on the clock and you just put down words. You don't let, and here's why it's good. You don't let your critical mind actually in on it. And here's the problem. When you've got creative block, when you're not able to actually think about what to do when it comes to writing lyrics or it comes to writing music, oftentimes it's because you're too analytical. A lot of us creative types are overthinkers. We think too much, and instead of letting an idea just flow out, just let it flow, we stop ourselves and we go, no, what if that's not the perfect idea? What if that's not the best thing that I've ever thought of? Well, guess what? It doesn't matter, and it doesn't have to be, and it never will be the best thing ever. You just need to let it flow. So unlike Frozen, where they say let it go, you got to let it flow. So I'm going to do this right here, right now, and you get to watch. I like to watch. So I'm going to add a new page here on my notes book. This is my OneNote document. We're going to bring this up over here. There's a video, by the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about it. I've got a video, which you can see there in the background, how to fix writer's block with speed thinking. And here's all you need to do. Just get a piece of paper or get a digital notebook, your phone, your computer, whatever you're using. Put 60 seconds on a timer, which I'm going to do in a moment, and then you get a concept. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with moving house. I'm not moving house, but we went and looked at houses on the weekend. The house next to us is being sold, and it's kind of in my head at the moment. So not necessarily going to write a song about moving house, but it's a concept that's going to demonstrate this particular method of doing things. And all I'm going to do for the next 60 seconds is actually write everything that comes into my brain about moving house. Not filtering it, not letting it stick, not umming and ahhing about it, just getting it down. So what I'll do is I'll have a cough. And we'll put 60 seconds. Now, if you're watching this on the replay, or if you're watching live, you can do this afterwards. Do this and then put yours in the comments. I would love the comments of this video to be filled with people, and start it with your sentence and then put all of the words that you come up with. I think it'll be really interesting to hear and see all of your stream of consciousness thoughts doing this exercise. It doesn't have to be moving house. You pick something else. You pick whatever you want. So without further ado, let's hit the start button on this one and we're going to get at it. So, all right, 1 minute is counting down. We're going to go. So, boxes is the first thing I'm thinking about when moving houses. New house, street, address. This is going to be, what else do you do? Moving van, new rooms, 2 stories on your house. Open inspections, yeah, right. Bank fees, loans, mortgage. Oh, this is sounding bad now. Rent, maybe. Investment. Are you investing in a new home? Possibly. What else happens? You have to pack, which is annoying. The kids are struggling, so with the new room, adjustment. And adjusting to it. What else we got? We got to 17 seconds. Moving. Just start typing moving in there. House, a flat or a unit. Like, what are you going to go with? Backyard. Does it have much yard? Does it have grass? Do I need to get a lawnmower? Oh man, lawnmower. Why not put that there? Lawnmower and oh, we're out of time. There you go. I like this. Anthony Dower's getting into it. Abandoned memories. I know. The house I grew up in as a kid has just been knocked down, and that's a bit sad. Oh yeah, read the meat. Oh, see, look here, we've got all these extras in here. This is great. So I'll go back to my list in a minute, but you've got a lot of people that were getting involved in here. So we've got reading the meters. Yep. So when you're leaving your old house, your abandoned memories, utilities hookups. Oh yeah, right. That's happy. That's happy. Yeah, happy 4th of July for Down Under. Gary's got a lawnmower. Yeah, that's right. You've still got Jay's lawnmower, so I can just borrow that one. Oh, yeah. Garden, debt, stress, pool. Yeah, there you go. Abers or neighbours, potentially. Yeah, exactly. All those things that you lost forever reappear. Right? Oh, the cleanup. Oh, yeah, the neighbours. Exactly. So what's happened here is in a very short period of time, I'll embiggen it here so you can read what I got. And this was just my stream of consciousness thoughts for 60 seconds. And look what we've put together here. So I'm not necessarily going to write a song about moving house, but if I was, guess what? I've now got, in 1 minute, I've got all these concepts. So I can write a song and, the verse could be about packing up the boxes, getting the moving van, or you can even start it with the open inspections, getting the loans, getting the fees, getting the mortgage, how do I pay the rent, and then, packing up the boxes, going to the new house, changing my street address everywhere, how do I adjust to it, the kids are screaming, they've got no backyard, I'm moving from a flat to a house, what do I do with all the extra space, I've got grass now, I've got to mow the lawns. So I've got myself an entire song worth, basically, of concepts here that I can now develop on. And that came out of nothing. Yeah. So using speed thinking, what it does is it does a couple of things. It gives you massive amount of information in a short period of time, but it also silences your own inner critic. It silences that voice that says, this idea, this concept may not be good enough. Like I wrote down some weird stuff there. Like, why did I write flat? I'm thinking of the British word for like a unit or a townhouse. I'm like, flat doesn't mean anything, but that could just spark something that I'm like, what I should write is I'm going to write a song about a guy who's lived in a council flat, like a housing trust, like trust flat, his whole life, and he wins the lottery and he actually buys a house. But what he realizes is that buying a house has all of these other things, and instead of his old problems, which were just how do I pay my rent every day, now he's got to pay a gardener and he's got to pay a pool cleaner and he's got to manage a bank loan and he's got to do all these things. All of that sort of stuff can really help. So that's my concept, and not my concept, but that's something that I borrowed, and one of the things that I liked from the corporate world that I borrowed for the creative world that I think can work really well. Write in B flat. There you go. Write about a flat in B flat, and a flat is 24 beers in Canada. There you go. I could write a song that is all the definitions of a flat. It could be like a comedy song. It's like, I was at my flat, writing in B flat, drinking a flat with my flat cap on. Yeah? Come on. That was solid. I definitely need to buy a new arm. I've realized that this arm is so wonky. Actually, I think I just need to tighten it. I think I need to tighten those screws because it's leaning that way, and it's slowly, by the end of the show, I'm going to be down here in the corner going, hi guys, I'm doing okay. We'll bring that back up there. All right. So let's move on from there. But who have I? Yeah, the neighbours. Who have I not said g'day to? Stephen Rowe. Hello. Yeah, that sounded a bit flat. Got it. James Kimball, hello to you. And Mobile Music Pro. Yeah, so is it the 4th of July? It is. It's the end of the 4th of July. Hopefully you've had a fun one, a great one, and a safe one. Whenever I hear about things like the 4th of July happening, I get a little bit concerned because some people just think, party time. And it's like, yeah, it's not quite party time yet. for many, many reasons. But yeah, just be safe, people. We want you all to be around, and we want you to be protecting each other and being safe out there. All right, let's move on, because now I've got my song written. We can talk about things. This microphone is really going to bug me. I'm going to have to like hold it in one hand for the rest of the show. All right. I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion on NFTs? Has anyone bought an NFT? Has anyone sold an NFT? Does people know what NFTs are? Because I was watching the news last night. I was watching the regular nightly news, and this is when I know things have gone. So a couple of years ago, the news suddenly started talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, because it kind of jumped the shark and went from just the people who are in the scene knowing about it to being on the news to being mainstream. And it seems that NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens, have done that as well. Now, I'm gonna be the old man that's going to tell you to get off my lawn and is going to go and yell at a cloud, because I don't get it. And I say that because I'm going to get a bit further away here. That might help. I don't understand the whole NFT thing. Because it's applying value to something that doesn't exist. And look, don't get me wrong. I understand about digital art having value, because I love the fact that you can sell a song. I love the fact that people pay to stream a song, that you can sell a piece of digital artwork to someone. But the whole one-to-one as opposed to one-to-many seems to go completely against the concept of a digital product. And I haven't been able to get someone to explain to me, or I haven't been able to understand in my old man brain, why it makes sense for you to own something digitally that everyone else can own an exact replica copy of. Because from the time I copied my very first Commodore 64 cassette, I was amazed and absolutely in love with the fact that we now have digital media. We don't need to, like, when you own something and you can give it to me, but you can continue to possess it. How good is that? Like with music, if you borrow someone's CD, you don't need to borrow someone's CD. You just copy their MP3 files and you've both got it. Now, that's a bad example, because I know that annoyed a lot of creators back in the 90s and the early 2000s, because everyone started just stealing their music. So this isn't about saying, oh, artists shouldn't be paid for what they do. But isn't it better that everyone can share in the joy of owning the art or contributing to the artwork, as opposed to just one person? So the news article I saw last night wasn't even about music or video or anything. Well, it kind of was. It was that people were owning particular highlights of particular sports people's endeavors. So someone can own the slam dunk that Michael Jordan used to win the slam dunk competition in the 90s. What? Why? How? Who? And here's the other thing. So that's sort of part one. Part two of the whole NFT thing is, someone's got to lose, right? The whole thing with the cryptocurrency world is that it's a bit like the stock market. For someone to make money, if you're thinking, oh, NFTs is the next big thing to make money, if you're an artist and you're selling something and you're making $1,000 and you get the $1,000 and you walk away, fair enough. But someone that bought that for $1,000 hoping that it'll go up to $2,000 and then selling it off to someone else, well, someone is making a loss from that. That person buying it is absorbing the extra amount of money that's worth now. And then for things to go up, things have to go down. So that's the other thing. It's a finite thing, that everything can't always go up. There have to be losers. And there are so many losers that I'm seeing in the whole world of cryptocurrency and of NFTs at the moment. And I'm worried that it's this bandwagon that folks are jumping on, and that people are going to get hurt because they go, oh, this is exciting and new and sexy, so I'm just going to get involved, not realizing that you're actually gambling. Anytime you're investing in something, it is a form of gambling. And I think people don't quite realize that with buying currency, whether it's traditional currency or cryptocurrency, with buying stocks, with trading shares, anything you do. Farming is gambling, for goodness sake. You're gambling on the fact that the weather this year is going to be better than previous years. And a really bad year could completely wipe you out. So I say all that to say, I don't quite get it yet, but I'm trying to learn. I'm not trying to just put a brick wall up and say, I don't want to learn, I don't want to know. Maybe there's some good things about this, but I can't help but think that for artists and for musicians, the ability to get to as many people as possible, as opposed to this single ownership. Single ownership seems a bit elite to me. It seems like the old days where the only people that could afford all the best musicians was the king. The king would get the jesters and the king would get the minstrels to come and play for just the king. Do we want only the richest and the most powerful to have access to the art, or should the artwork be shared among people? People still make money from it. I'd be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I said don't make money from your art, because I do. But I just think that it doesn't make sense to me to have that singular way. That's just me, and other people are going to have their own views. So I'm going to I'll come into the chats and see what folks are saying about this. I think Stephen Rose said, I think someone bought the first ever tweet not long ago. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I own the first tweet from whatever that guy's name. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The Twitter founder that he tweeted the first tweet. Gary says, art in the age of mechanical reproduction. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So Anthony says, I've seen a number of videos on it, but me neither. SM Borthwick, I'd happily sell NFTs if I understood what they were. Thomas says, doesn't make much sense to me. Hello to Dwight Bailey, by the way, who's jumped on in here. But my bell is on. So Mobile Music Pro says, because NFTs act like a certificate of authenticity, that's the difference. It will have no value if the secondary market without its certificate, just like physical items. So, and I guess in that sense, yeah, you're just saying, but outside of the flex value, this is the thing I'm not quite getting, Vortex. Outside of the flex value of being able to say, I am the one true owner, one ring to rule them all, I don't really get it. And look, maybe it's not for me. And don't get me wrong, this is the thing. People can enjoy this and people can do it. I just want people to do it going in, understanding that there's got to be losers. Like not everyone wins. And this is the big thing with the whole Bitcoin and the whole crypto revolution, is that there has to be losers. In order for value to be acquired by some, value has to be lost by others. It is always a zero-sum game when it comes to a financial transaction. So just be careful and be safe. NFT is false scarcity to take money from suckers. And that's probably what I worry about, is false scarcity. Like I've ranted on this in the past, and I will move on in a minute because I know I get a bit on my high horse and I want to get back on my low horse. But I struggle with false scarcity of digital products. Is my least favorite thing. When people launch courses and they say, for just this day, this course will only be $47, then it's going up to $197. I despise that. I think it's the worst way to market and to sell, because what you're doing is you're generating buzz based on the false scarcity of a product that has no scarcity by definition. And to me, that is a manipulative tactic, and that is something that I don't like. If people use it and they're successful with it and they're not hurting anyone, people are getting a product and they're getting it for cheaper and they're happy with the end product, more power to you. I just personally can't get behind that, because exactly as Audible Video says, fake scarcity of digital products doesn't just gel with me. So that's it. Dom Fashion says NFT is like having a parking space at the supermarket. It's your space, you paid for it, that's great. It just means that anyone can park there in the real world, but that space is yours. That's a nice analogy. I kind of like that. So it's your parking space. It's like what are those timeshare places? It's like, I have the timeshare. Sure, when I'm not there, they let it out to other people, but I have the timeshare. Friggsy says, based on the vids I've watched, not pretending to fully understand from, the experts are saying that NFTs will go far beyond art, music, sport, and will lead banking, utilities, etc. Yeah. And that could be the case, but yeah, it become like even back, like the reason we can't just print money and we can't just add value to things is that even money has to be linked back to some sort of value, be it in property, be it in gold, be it in whatever it is, in resources. Yeah, I'm just worried that we're going to get to this world where things are not actually having any value. But there you go. And yeah, because digital can be consistently reproduced and copied, it doesn't mirror real life. Yeah, like you can't do that in the real world with, say, if you're farming, you can't just say, oh, I want to just double up how much I farm. So that makes sense. Like physical, individual ownership of things makes sense. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're just describing basic marketing. People like discounts. Yeah, exactly. Look, and people like discounts, but you can discount things, I guess, but I don't know. I get worried when it's the buy now. It's not even the discounting; it's the scarcity. But you're right. I went and bought a new mattress yesterday because they were doing an end of financial year sale, and they had 40% off the mattress. And if I went back today, it would have cost me 40% more because the sale ended yesterday. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. That's the prerogative. That's the good thing about life is nothing's black or white. There's this giant grey area. But yeah, I hate to see manipulation. But then again, all marketing and all sales is basically manipulation, isn't it? At the end of the day. Sorry, that was going to be like a 2-minute little nugget where I said, "Hey, NFTs have finally made it because they're on the news," and then I went on way too long. So let's talk about other things. Let's talk about this man here. I've got to find him now. So you may be aware that our friend Ron Ward, so Ron Ward over at the Garage Band Users Facebook group, he has been doing his GBU Indie Live show on YouTube. The reason he's been doing it on YouTube, and I'll save this rant for another day, is that basically Facebook are shutting down anyone's ability to stream music. Your own music sometimes, cover songs definitely, and playing other people's music, forget about it. Like, it's just not a thing. So Ron has had to move his wonderful GarageBand indie live show over to YouTube from Facebook. And he's now, special announcement here, he's now had to move GBU Live, the regular show. So I've got it linked down in the description so you can jump straight over there. But if you've never watched Ron, super entertaining, and it's on at a time that's good for folks like me in Asia and in Australia, because it's sort of our evening time, and it's sort of morning time for the folks in the UK, kind of the middle of the night for the folks in the US and Canada. So yeah, you may have to set your alarms and get up in the middle of the night, but do jump over and check out Ron, because he does an amazing job, and he does this just for the love of the game. Like, he just wants to help artists and help GarageBand artists that are creating music, and he wants to share their music, and he wants to share the love. So it's similar, if you've watched Your Music Live, the show I have here on the channel, it's similar to YML, but it's, I don't know, Ron is just a cool dude. He's living in Ho Chi Minh City, he's from the US originally, and I don't know, once you watch Ron one time, you'll be like, yeah, like it's a really good time. So if we go back, in fact, let's take a quick look. See, now I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to be playing some of Ron's video, but here's the third edition of GBU Indie Live. So there's our man Ron. There he is, doing his thing, playing the tunes, playing other people's music, and some usual suspects that you can see there are there. And he uses a similar sort of setup to what I use here, which works really well for him. Over there at GBU Live. So shout out to our man Ron, who does great things over there. We are at the midpoint, as if I haven't ranted enough and thrown enough things out there to disengage people that are like, but I like things, and now Pete says these things are bad. No, you can like what you like. That's the thing. That's the beauty part of the world. I just want everyone to go in with open eyes, right? I think sometimes people get caught up. Like the amount of people that are into cannabis, they're into cryptocurrency, that are into like whatever the new big trend seems to be, everyone's just jumping on that. Instead of going, what am I passionate about? And whether it's popular or not, it shouldn't really be the biggest factor, because you're not going to be as passionate about something new as someone else is. So yeah, try to resist the urge to follow the trends and just do the new cool thing. Because tell you what, if everyone was doing that, no one would be making rock music right now. We'd all be programming trap beats and doing R&B and hip hop, wouldn't we? Because that's where the popularity is. But yeah, we need jazz, we need folk, we need country, we need everything else at the same time. Yes, and as Mark says, it will be easy to play the replay. Yeah, and for those of us like me that have YouTube Premium, it means that you can actually play it in the background, so you can listen in to GBU Live, because Facebook, whenever you close the app, it goes away, and I hate that, because I love to listen into YouTube shows, and I can do that on YouTube. I can't do it on Facebook. We'll take a excuse me. We'll take a quick detour on that one. To talk about Facebook, because this is important for you as creators. Now, I know I kind of went a bit over top before, and I said, oh, you can't play your own music. You can play your own music, but we have seen examples of where people that have released music, especially if you've worked, if you released music under a label. So I think Jade had a problem, Jade Starr recently, when Brad Example was on her show and she played a song. She got claimed by Warner Music because Brad had previously released music under Warner, and then Warner Music Group put a claim on that because it identified that as part of the YouTube content idea. That might have even been YouTube. But what I found lately, the reason that this show and my GarageBand shows are on Facebook, but all my other shows I've had to shift over to just YouTube, is that when I was doing Your Music Live, every week I get copyright claims here on YouTube, because YouTube have a good copyright claim system where they determine if someone's released something through, say, CD Baby or TuneCore, and they've added YouTube Content ID, it will just pop that up and it'll say, hey, there's a copyright claim on this video. Any advertising revenue that's put on this video will go to that particular person. And that's cool. Like I go in eyes open knowing that that's going to be the case every week. But what was happening with Facebook is because they don't have that same copyright claim system and the Content ID system, it was just blocking it. So after every week's show, one or two of the songs that I play will have had something in the Facebook system that says, nope, you can't play this. And it was said, your video has been blocked. No one can ever watch it again. And it's like, oh, okay, that's no good. So that's the other thing to consider, is that when you're sharing things, YouTube is good for sharing things if you're using other people's. And remember, don't use other people's music without their permission, and definitely don't use music from some of your favorite popular artists, because it seems like the bigger, the more popular, and especially the older the group, the more likely you get in trouble. You start rocking some Rolling Stones and Beatles and Eagles, you're going to very quickly find out what the copyright claim system is all about. Thank you, Mobile Music Pro. Appreciate the super chat, and thank you for being here. And yeah, look, I know Vortex. I know you're into this stuff because you find it fascinating and interesting, and that's totally cool in terms of the crypto stuff and the NFT stuff. And I try to learn. That's it. I'm far from a closed mind on this. The reason I talk about it so much is to get my head around it, because there's got to be something there. Anytime enough people are into something, there has to be something there. It may not be for me, and that's cool too. I just need to be as educated as possible. So I'm doing a lot of work into that. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of the energy consumption that cryptocurrency uses, because that's something that I can't get my head around at the moment. And obviously, we've seen some things with China regulating the farming of cryptocurrency at the moment, because that uses a lot of energy. Like, yeah, you can go down that rabbit hole too and find out how much energy is used to do all the calculations. Because cryptocurrency is so safe and secure, because the algorithms, the calculations that have to be done by the computers, there's literally big giant banks and server farms of basically graphics cards doing billions of calculations every minute to make sure that everything remains secure. So it's making it really hard. It's that whole thing of security over convenience, yeah? It's making it less convenient but super secure, but it's doing it at the cost of the energy consumption to actually do it. And there's things happening with that too. There's newer forms of cryptocurrency that aren't utilizing that same system, but finding that balance. It's like your password. If your password is pencil, it's really convenient, but you're going to get hacked. If your password is a 32-character alphanumeric stream, it's going to be bloody impossible to remember, but you ain't getting hacked. So it's the same sort of thing. You need to find that balance, don't you? All right, midpoint motivation. So I had something on my channel this week in the community tab. Let's see if I can find my community tab, and I haven't actually checked back on this. So I'm going to do that now. If I go to my channel, it's going to start playing my trailer video. No, that's good. So if you haven't been to the community tab, you can do it on your mobile or you can do it on the desktop. So come on over here. So what I asked is, life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react to it. True or false, and why? So I had some really interesting comments on this, and I hadn't looked at this, but it looks like it's about 80-20. Everything in life is 80-20. For some reason, everything I look at seems to fall around the 80-20. Which is, yeah. So I basically said this and the original quote was 90-10. And I must admit, I didn't really believe on the 90-10. But so it originally said life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Now, the reason I put these sort of questions out here, because you're like, Pete, you're a music channel, buddy. You might be punching above your weight here. Like, stay in your lane, friend. But the reason I put these sort of things out here and put these sort of questions is more of a thought starter than it is a definitive statement. So what I want people to get from this is to start thinking about that, because there's a lot of people that come to me that ask me questions, that ask for advice about music, or that ask for feedback or whatever, or say, hey, I did this thing and now this thing's happening. And what I've noticed is that a lot of folks can handle when things go well. They can handle when things are ticking along. They make a good song. They release a song. They get lots of likes. They get the little dopamine hits, pew, 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 in the head. They get people commenting on their stuff. And then they'll put something out and they'll hear crickets and they'll drop their bundle. Sorry, that's an Australian thing, I think. They'll get very upset and very disillusioned because they think, hey, what went wrong? I did this thing and I got all this praise. I did this thing, which was exactly the same thing, and nothing happened. And to me, how people react when things go pear-shaped is really a good indicator of character. More so, anyone can tick along. When your football team's winning, when your songs are getting played, when you're getting paid on time, when your best friend's being a great guy and not a douche to you, you can handle it. As soon as the best friend lies to you or doesn't rock up at the pub when you ask him to, as soon as you release a song and it absolutely falls flat, as soon as you do a job and someone doesn't pay you on time, it's those situations and how you manage those that I think defines your character and defines you as a person. That's my personal view, and it seems that that's the view of a lot of other folks as well. But I see a lot of people that just sit back and they're like, think this is happening and this is happening, and they're like, yeah, I'm super happy. And then the smallest little curveball gets thrown, and they drop their bundle, they fall in a heap. And look, if that's something that's happening, then as long as you can identify that and try and work on it, because again, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time to be worrying about the little things like that, and not just getting back on the horse and continuing to create, because it's going to impact you. As Thomas says, it's like when a sports team loses or is losing, all the drama comes out. Exactly. I go to a lot of sport. I love sport. I love the hockey at the moment, and like Montreal Canadian fans out there, Canadians fans, you're 3-zip down. Tomorrow you got to win or you're out of the Stanley Cup, and you've been swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm sure that there were Montreal Canadian fans that have had a horrible 3 days because the team that they like best of the 30 teams that did a great job and somehow found a way to get into the Stanley Cup finals then lost 3 games to the best team in the world. I would be counting your blessings and saying, man, I'm getting to watch my team in the Stanley Cup finals. Yeah, it's disappointing when they lose, but it's a game. It's a hockey game. If your entire happiness is based around the outcome of one hockey game, yeah, that's a bit of a sad thing. And if your happiness is based on whether 3 people or 20 people put a like on the latest song that you release, that's a real shame as well, because life's going to deal you a lot dodgier cards than that. So yeah, having that resilience to do that. There you go. Mark is a Canadians fan. There you go. And it's all Gary's Hubs' fault for jumping on the Hab wagon. Hello to anyone who's here for the first time. I did see a few folks. I think Anthony, did you say that you're here for the first time? I have an idea. You're not here for the first time. You had crypto for breakfast. Yeah, I would eat crypto flakes. They need to jump on the bandwagon. Bitcoin bites. I'd have a delicious packet of chocolate Bitcoin bites for sure. Stephen Rowe, I think you're pretty new to the channel as well. If you are new here, do put hashtag new in the chat, and we'll all the usual suspects will be really nice to you, and they'll say g'day to you, I'm sure. Hashtag new. So that was I didn't put it up there, but that was our midpoint motivation. I just wanted to talk about that because sometimes it's good to just verbalize. And again, if you want to be involved in other interesting and fun surveys like that, then follow the community tab. So it's on your phone or it's on your desktop. You can do that as well. Where are we at? Let's check if we have covered all the topics that we had here for today. I think we have. So I'll throw this out here, and you can tell me, because this is seriously. I'm obviously I read a book about controversial topics today because I'm throwing all the controversial topics out there. So let's talk about auto-tune, shall we? And this will lead into our hidden gems. So I'm going to go through some hidden gems in a minute, which is YouTube channels, which is resources, which is things that I've found cool over the last week or two, and I think you might want to check out as well. But give me your one-liner on auto-tune. And just the first thing that comes to your head, 5 words or less. 5 words or less. What do you think about auto-tune? So try and put it in a succinct statement. I'll tell you my thoughts in a minute, but tell me your views on auto-tune, and this is going to link you in directly to my first hidden gem for this week. So, in fact, while you're deciding what it is that you think about auto-tune, what I did this week is I've started watching a show on Netflix, and it is called This Is Pop. I'll play a tiny piece of the trailer here, or I'm going to get into trouble. But here it is. This is the man that's on the episode I watched last night, all about auto-tune. Those of you playing along at home, that is T-Pain. who is renowned for using auto-tune. So he's part of this. It is 8 films and it is 8 unique stories. Autotune, Stockholm. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff there. So there's a whole bunch of different categories. I can't show you any more of it than that because of copyright issues. So, but if you do have Netflix, I implore you to go check it out. If you're a music producer, if you're just someone who enjoys music history and how we got here, even if you're not into pop music, pop music is just what was popular at the time. So there is some component of this that you'll go, wow. So last night I watched the end of the auto-tune episode and I watched episode 3, which is Stockholm Syndrome, which is not what it sounds like. It's all about the fact that Sweden has developed more artists, has had more songwriters, more producers than pretty much anywhere else in the world. Like, they punch above their weight when it comes to artists. Let's go through some of the things that we have here that comes to where are we? There you go. So do you believe in love? The Jam's face. Good job. So yes, Cher was the kind of first proponent of autotune. So do you believe in love after love? Was that one? Guzzo says Cher, horrible. Sith Widow, our friend Joe, says use it sparingly if at all. Mark, autotune, just another tool. Gary Hubs, not even Cher can turn back time. Cher, yep, less is more. Josephine says, I like it. I do myself too. It cleans harmonies up so nicely, but don't overdo it like Cher. Audible video, dodgy pitch made musical now a trope. There you go. Fake pop stars, says Anthony. Gino says little goes a long way in auto-tune. Thomas, can be cool or crutch. There you go. Auto-tune is not essential for music. Yep. Auto-tune, the ruination of modern music. Kim says auto-tune equals nope. And Josephine says, don't do it like Glee to where the edge is completely gone. Yeah. And Mobile Music Pro says, I'm actually surprised how many people don't understand that autotune is mostly used in a very subtle way to the point where the average person can't even hear it. Yeah, spot on. Autotune can't save bad vocals. That's a good one. John David Lee's autotune, not for everyone. Yeah, agree. Frigsy, autotune, an overused resource which seems to be in all current chart music. There you go. And sorry if I've missed anyone's things there. So yeah, autotune, the history of autotune, which is in this documentary, is interesting. So the guy, the mathematician, because it was a mathematician who developed autotune, who basically just worked out that, hey, there's algorithms around what note is being hit. And all autotune does at the end of the day is it takes a note and it says, what is this note closest to in this actual scale? So if I'm singing in G major, what is this note? Is it a G? Is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a D? I can't remember. F sharp. Can't remember my scale. And it will just tune it to that particular note. And what the original the original creator said, he created this so that artists, when they were singing and when producers were producing them, instead of the artist having to do like 50 takes to get the perfect take, if they got the almost perfect take, they could just tweak the little dial and it would just chunk. And it was almost just for fun that he put in the extreme setting. And he's like, no one will ever use this. And just for fun, let's just turn it up to complete, so that it's only ever on the note. Because autotune's not supposed to just go do, 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 do. It's supposed to go do. It's supposed to just tweak it to hold it on there. Like plugins like Melodyne these days, like the enhanced tuning function in GarageBand, they're just doing that. They're just nudging things. But you know that if you crank that up, you get that T-Pain, you get that Cher auto-tune effect. My opinion on it is auto-tune is just a tool. So like anything else, auto-tune is just a tool. And it's interesting, in the documentary, they talked about when the vocoder first came out, people were like, oh, this is craziness. Like, the vocoder is a terrible thing. But I hope not every song's going to have vocoder in it. And it didn't. When the electric guitar came out, a lot of people were like, oh, this is terrible. They're taking an acoustic instrument, you're making it, you're ruining it. You're adding this distorted tone. You're adding this overdriven tone. That's terrible. So when things come out that are a new tool, that are a new way to create music, people will have very strong opinions on them. And I don't particularly love the T-Pain or the Cher kind of sound of autotune. T-Pain actually did a Tiny Desk concert, so the NPR Tiny Desk concert, and sang for real. And that was like back in 2014. And the documentary was showing that after he did that, everyone's like, oh my God, T-Pain can actually sing. It's amazing. And I can't remember who said it, maybe Sion, which is that autotune doesn't fix bad vocals. And it's like mixing. It's like the old adage of fix it in the mix. good mixing and good mastering doesn't fix a bad recording, and a good recording doesn't fix bad singing. And like everything in the chain has to be good. Yeah, you have to have a well-written song, you have to perform it well, you have to record it well, and then you have to mix it and master it effectively. Now, if you're creating a style of music where a little bit of auto-tune is going to help you, I think as Josephine said, especially for a harmony vocal. Let's say I'm singing a lead part and it's like, yeah, girl. And I've got two parts to go, yeah, girl. And then I go, yeah, girl. And then I go, yeah, girl. That last one was a little bit wavery, yeah. I didn't hit that note so good. So if I just smooth that out with some auto tuning in the background at like 20%, I don't see that as a big problem. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's cheating, you can't do that. Well, guess what? In the world of loop-based music, in the world of synthesizers, we're all cheating. Anyone who's not knocking two pieces of sticks together or stringing their own banjo between a piece of wood, we're all cheating. We're all using technology. We're all utilizing new tools that are not natural to create music. So that's the way I figure it. Oh, all right. Sorry, I've been on all these bandwagons today. Tell you what. Arlene Dallas says, yeah, trueness. Tell it being good has to be good first. Exactly. And yeah, anyone using a CPU is cheating. Exactly. Anyone who's using a digital audio workstation, guess what? You're converting analog audio signals into digital ones and zeros. That's the worst cheating of all. And I'm cheating right now because I'm talking to people across the world through a magic talking box. So yeah, we are all cheating. I don't know what it is today, Joe. And I promise there's only water in this cup too, in case you're thinking that there's something a bit weird in here. On the cis-herp, like Miley Cyrus, maybe not. Okay. So do check that one out. Once again, check it out. If you're a Netflix subscriber, this is pop. It is definitely worth a look. I'm only 3 episodes in, absolutely loving it. I think you'll dig it as well. Next up, we have Vinyl Rewind. Now, if you've never checked out Vinyl Rewind, excellent channel. This is the one that I watched in the last couple of weeks from the 22nd of June, from just a couple of weeks ago. How did Ringo Starr join the Beatles? Really interesting videos, and look at this dude. Look at that slick suit. Like, come on. That's very cool. So I've only just sort of started watching the channel, so I can't even remember the guy's name, to be honest. Someone will be able to tell me what his name is. But really nicely shot, really interesting, sort of fairly highly scripted, but you can see there in the videos there's quite a bit of like B-roll footage that's included in there, like some of the older footage and pictures. So it's really interesting stories about the history of music creation. So this one in particular that I've been watching, How Did Ringo Starr Join the Beatles, is pretty darn interesting. But if you're not a Beatles fan, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So if we jump over to the channel, yeah, and you go to videos, there is a heap of things here. Like, this was fun. Did Elvis die? So going into the conspiracy of whether Elvis actually died. The best Beach Boys albums, if you're a huge Beach Boys fan like me, that's a great one to check out. And some more sort of recent stuff. So like talking about the fact that a lot of new music is now being released on vinyl. It kind of makes me, his name is apparently Slick McSuitface. I'm very sorry to the actual host of the show. I don't think his name's Slick McSuitface, but that did make me laugh. I was watching the movie Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Any Wayne's World fans in the house? I was watching Wayne's World, and there was a scene where the band Crucial Taunt, which is the one that what's her name? Tia Carrera. Tia Carrera plays in Wayne's World. And she was saying, I can't believe that my band will never be released on vinyl. Doesn't that make you sad? And I was watching this going, oh man, if only you knew. Not only are we seeing brand new releases from new artists on vinyl, we're seeing artists releasing on cassette again. If you told me 10 years ago that the cassette would be making a comeback, I would have called you a liar, a dirty, filthy liar. But these days, yeah, people, because nostalgia, because retro, people want things. They want their physical media again. It's we've gone full circle, and we've got people like me. So all the people that are into their music that now actually have disposable income to buy music as opposed to stream it, we want that physical media experience. So we're like, bring on my records, bring on my cassettes. Yes, party on Wayne, party on Garth. Exactly. Oh, you saw Elvis twice in DC in the mid-1990s. Was he? I think I heard about that, Anthony. He was driving a Suzuki and eating a Carl's Jr. That's what I heard. I heard it from a reliable source. That's exactly what happened. Exactly. Hang on to that car stereo cassette adapter. We were talking about that recently. You remember those car cassette adapters that you plug in and you put it in there? Yeah, I'm ready for the cassette tape revolution. Bring it on. Bring it on, I say. All right, so yeah, Vinyl Rewind anyway, great channel. Jump over there, check it out. Because yeah, again, very, very cool stories. And if you're into the bit of the history of music, and if you're a vinyl fan as well, then yeah, go and check it out. Speaking of stories, and speaking of true stories about rock and roll, are you aware of Rock and Roll True Stories? This channel is pretty cool. I just watched this one, which is Silverchair, the rise and fall of the band behind Frog Stomp and the songs Tomorrow and a song in Israel's Sun. So if you don't know Silverchair, they were a bit of a revolution here in Australia. So Daniel Johns, the front man, along with Ben and Chris, I forget their surnames, they formed a band in Newcastle when they were 15. You can watch the story to find the whole story behind it, but basically entered a songwriting competition on a radio station here in Australia, got discovered. They were originally called Innocent Criminals, and they're like, nah, you can't be Innocent Criminals, that's not going to appeal. Be Silverchair, which was kind of it was a cross between the song Sliver by Nirvana and Berlin's Chair, which is a song by a great Australian band called UMI, who I also love. So they call themselves Silverchair. And if you're not aware, you probably know more Silverchair songs than you think you do. Yeah, they're the Wait Till Tomorrow. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na. Yeah, that song and a bunch of others. So go and check out that story. But while you're there, there's some really good and interesting behind the scenes kind of rock and roll stories here. So if we come over here and take a look at some of the stories we've got here, Twisted Sister, Rush, whatever happened to the Toadies, something I think we're all asking there. We've got what happened to Green Jello. Yep. There's the Silverchair one, the city that banned Led Zeppelin. The shocking murder of a Motley Crue fan. Yeah, so the Pearl Jam Nirvana feud. So a lot of them, are a little bit overhyped. Let's be honest, because yeah, it's a bit fun. Don't let I was going to say don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's not necessarily the case, but yeah, some of them are told in a way that you're like, you could have just said, and then this happened. But storytelling. Exactly. As Gino said, Silverchair were Australia's Nirvana. Yeah, and whenever I want to try and sound impressive to someone that knows Daniel Johns, I'm just like, cousin Daniel and his band Silverchair, they were pretty big here in Australia back in the 90s. And they're like, oh, you're Pete Johns. Are you Daniel Johns' cousin? I'm like, no, I can't really say. No, I'm not, by the way. But it would be a cool story. Wouldn't it be cool if I did, if I was? Hello from Greece. Hello to you. Good to have you here, my friend. Thanks for dropping on by. Silverchair are indeed great. Kim says, loved the Toadies. I know, the Toadies never really made much ground here in Australia. Around that time, we had a lot of the grunge bands and a lot of the rock bands from the alternative rock scene, but that wasn't really one of them. There you go. We are coming to the end of the show, so we haven't had any questions today, which is great if everyone's ticking along and doesn't have any questions. But if you do have questions, or if I've missed your question, we'll probably go into about 5 minutes of overtime here today. So if you do have a question, now is the time. What do they say at weddings? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Peace. Not the other one. The other one's when you're at the end of a really long concert and you're like, man, I really got to go, but I'm going to miss the encore. Quick, sing now, because I can't forever hold my peace. File. All right, we're going to file that one. File that one under, not funny at all. Where are we at? Do we have one more? We do? Oh, yeah. And I thought just to roll around, just to tie up everything in a nice, neat little bow that we were talking about earlier, I thought this was pretty funny because I love me some scam baiting. I don't do it personally, but I love watching it. I'm blanking on the name of the channel. What is the name of the dude? Kit Boga. Love me some Kit Boga. And I also love this creator called Atomic Shrimp. If you're not aware of Atomic Shrimp, they do some really cool scam baiting and really interesting informations about scams and about getting scammed and avoiding getting scammed, more importantly. And this one in particular, the YouTube Bitcoin investment clusterbot scammers. So this one, the reason this is relevant, I think, for creators and especially those on YouTube is you've probably seen similar things to this. So we'll scroll through the video and I'll just see if I can see where it shows it. But These are the sort of things that come up. It's always things like this. This is Christian Travers, like investing in crypto now should be every wise individual's list. In some months' time, you'll be ecstatic with the decision you made today. And what's actually happening now is instead of just those spam, like you've seen these, they're like, go to hotgirls.xyz, or I can't believe that blah, this on WhatsApp, this number WhatsApp, managed to hack into someone's account for me. You should use them too. They're pretty common, yeah. What's happening now is that we're getting these cluster bots scammers. So what's happening here is Christian Travers says that thing he says before. Then Melissa George says, most intelligent words I've heard. And then Eduardo Paul says, crypto is the new gold. So we're getting these on YouTube channels now where it's not just that you're getting that one scam comment, but the bots that they're developing. And, you know, full credit to how smart these people are. If they could deploy their skills for good instead of evil, they would be amazing. They would be able to make money and do all the good things. But instead, they're developing these cluster bots that are going in and putting a comment, but then grabbing another YouTube account and replying to that comment. So they're creating these threads, and it's absolutely hilarious what these threads are like. It's just like, oh yeah, I can't believe that I made US dollar 1,200 in my first week using strategy by a person. And then the other one's like, oh yes, best decision I ever made was going onto Instagram and talking to blah. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. Yeah, sorry for the dad joke before. I apologize. So Gina's got a question. Are you working on new original music and a new EP? I'm not at the moment. I have a couple of ideas. Not the moving house song. That was just an example. But I have a couple of ideas that are currently in the phone. You know what? Let's. This is going to be weird and a little bit self-serving. But I came up with a bit of an idea the other day that I'll play here through the voice memos. Is it this one here? It might be this one, work in progress. No, that's not it. I can't find it to actually play it, but oh, maybe it's this one. We'll see. We have to. Yeah, here we go. Everything goes in circles. It's a lot of bubbles. So, yeah, I'm working on that. Probably more of an acoustic song at the moment. I will, obviously, Songtember's coming up. Well, not obviously. If you're new to the channel, every September we do a song in a month challenge. So I'm kind of keeping my creative juices flowing for Songtember. But there's a couple of things in the works that I may be doing. And the other thing I'm trying to work out is whether I focus in on Cubasis for my next song or GarageBand or Mac moving into Logic. So that's another thing. If anyone's got any views or opinions on that one, let me know as to whether I should go the GarageBand Mac or with the Cubasis. I don't know. I'm on the fence at the moment. I love them both. Anthony says, best mic for outside nature sound recording. The actual mics on your newer iPhones are not bad at all, I got to tell you. They are really good. If you're looking for portability, the Shure MV88 is a great little mic. I think it's over on the Gear Guide. We'll come over here and I'll make sure that I do have it there. If I don't, I should have it there. Is it under microphones? Yeah, microphones iOS, the Shure MV88. So the MV88, this is the one that I have. It doesn't have a headphone port though, so if you're using it with a lightning-based iPhone, you won't be able to monitor your audio if you're going to use multi-tracking, but it just plugs into your lightning jack there. It's a dual capsule, so you can capture stereo, and it's got multiple polar patterns, so you can get mono or stereo, and yeah, it just does a great job. Comes in a little carry case with a little ball there. I've got a dead cat windshield for mine as well that you can pick up for about $10 extra, so that would be my recommendation if you're just looking for the highest quality but also most portable microphone. And if you want to go to the next one up, is this one here, the MV88 Plus, which is very similar, but actually has a headphone jack for monitoring. So it looks a little bit different, but it's basically the same mic. Only major difference being that down the bottom here, if we can show it, down the bottom there, as well as having its connector there, it has a headphone jack for your monitoring. And you connect it up via a cable as opposed to, so you've got a cable there. It doesn't plug directly in, which means it's a bit more versatile. It comes with USB-C and lightning cables, so you can use it with more stuff. So yeah, if you want to get into your field recording, that's what I would recommend, the Shure MV88 series. Did I miss Ingo? Did I miss Black Covers coming on in? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, one with a dead cat. Exactly. If you're outside, and if you're not sure what a dead cat, I'm not trying to sound weird and gross here. If you're not sure what a dead cat windshield is, let's just search dead cat. And I'm going to get weird search results now. It is something like this. So this is what a dead cat looks like. So here on Sweetwater, they sell them for like your road microphones, but you can buy them pretty cheaply on Amazon or eBay and grab a dead cat for whatever your microphone is. If you're outdoors, then you'll need yourself a dead cat. Question from Joe: what is the purpose of merging a stem with itself before exporting? Merging a stem with itself before exporting. Not sure. In terms of GarageBand, the reason that you'd merge before you export is more to make sure that it's starting and finishing at the same. So if you're soloing a track in GarageBand, you want to make sure that that track starts at 0 and goes up to like 4 minutes 30 or whatever, and then each track or each stem you're doing has that same amount of time. What can happen sometimes is if you solo it out, you want to make sure that it doesn't it keeps in that silence at the start if there's a track that doesn't have silence. So if you've seen me do that, if you've seen me merge down each track to just like a blue track, it's more so that each individual stem is exactly the same in length and it doesn't create any sync issues when you export individual stems and then bring them back into something else. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you or if others have other questions, don't forget, you can jump over to the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. If you don't get your question answered here today, we've got 899 members over there. Here it is. You can see we're doing this show right here now. So if you just go to createrecordrelease.com. You can jump in and become a member of the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. Ask your question there. There are plenty of people there that can help you out and will answer your questions for you. Oh, we might have to fill it. And baking in all the plugins, as Brad says. Exactly right. So merging down it can also bake in all the plugins so that it's not running, when you're exporting it, it's not having to run all those plugins over the exported audio in real time. Which can help with your performance, but it can also help with making sure that, you're getting the sounds you want and you're exporting it out. If you don't want the plugins in, you can, of course, turn off your plugins, export the stems raw, and then add plugins if you're going to mix them in another platform. That is going to have to do it for this one. Sorry, I just saw a funny thing from Josephine. You're a cracker. No cats were harmed during this painfully bad joke. Yeah, so I wasn't supposed to pull my actual cat over my mic. No. You're doing it wrong. Sorry, Josephine, you're doing it wrong. All right, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for being here. For those, if it's your first time here, please feel free to subscribe and hang around. We do 4 live shows every weekend. We do a Your Music live show. We do a happy hour live music show. We do this show, the Creator Town Hall, and then tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, we have GarageBand Weekly. So if you are a GarageBand user or you're GarageBand curious, then join us for GarageBand Weekly tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about in the world of mobile creation and GarageBand usage in general. Yes, please do not hurt your cats. Do not kill or use your cats. I think more cat owners be harmed. Yeah, please use your cats. Be kind to your cats and dogs and pets and children and everyone else. Thanks for being here. I've had a great time, as usual. Sorry, we went a little bit over time here today. But as we say at the end of every show, please be kind to yourselves, yeah? Please be kind to others that you cross paths with during your week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or have a great week, depending where you are in the world. And I will see you next time here on Studio Live today. Hit the thumbs up on the way out and don't forget to wipe your feet.